Good morning, madam. This is Vikram, ma'am.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Madam, shall I put some slides so that people will not get bored?
Yeah.
Abdul Kalam quotations.
Another 1-2 minutes so that they will join. Or you want to start?
Yeah, because so that people will not feel bored. Otherwise, they will be simply seeing the empty screen, no? So they may feel bored.
Fine, sir. You can.
Yeah, that's why.
I'll make you co-host.
Yeah. And the sir will join very soon.
Yeah. Yes, sir. You can share, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks, ma'am. I think the slides are visible, right? Hello, slides are visible, right?
Yes, visible.
Yeah, okay, fine.
बीच में गैप भी लगा तो चलता है.
These are some useful links for the career. So participants can take screenshot of this. It will be useful at some point of time in the career. These links just can take screenshot. Especially the second one is having a lot of free open source softwares. For example, if you take ECE department, we may be using MATLAB generally, right? But here there is some alternative like Scilab, which we can adopt in the labs like that. So there will be tools, and IIT Mumbai will support with the programs if you require. And similarly, especially for the final year students, they can register in this ncs.gov.in. It is a career service portal where you will find a lot of opportunities. I'm just checking whether Sarah has joined or not. Okay. So one more website, Arvind Gupta Toys. Whenever you get 3 minutes of time, just 3 minutes of time when you get, you can see this website. You will see some science concepts explained within 3 minutes in a very nice way. So when you're waiting for some friend to come, say, you can just watch. By the time they come, you can watch 2-3 videos within the 10 minutes of time they promise you, like that. So this is one more thing, research park of IIT Madras. It has more than 100 companies incubated. So those who are looking for internships, projects, they can try to visit this website, and you can see a lot of companies, startup companies. You can apply for internships there. For someone who want to do some voluntary work, they can look at this Wikaspedia. This is something like Wikipedia, but this is developed by CDAC, so it will be there in all Indian languages. You can also contribute in that whenever you get some free time. So all those things you can put in your resume. Good morning, sir. Madam, Sarah has joined, ma'am.
Hi, Vikram. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. So we will start 10:30, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Dr. Srinivasa, sir. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, madam. How are you?
Welcome to JBIET, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for accepting our this and delivering lectures.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Ma'am, shall we start?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
A very good morning to all. And I welcome to today's webinar, Science of Success. I thank Dr. V. Srinivasa Chakravarti for accepting the invitation. Before starting the webinar, I would like to just give a brief note of Dr. V. Srinivasa Chakravarti, who is the speaker of today's webinar. V. Srinivasa Chakravarti is a professor in the Department of Biotechnology, IIT Madras. He obtained his BTech from IIT Madras, MS PhD from the University of Texas at Austin. He received postdoctoral training in the Neuroscience Department at Baylor College of Medicine, Houston. The computational neuroscience lab that he heads works on developing computational models of brain function with special focus on Parkinson's disease, spatial navigation, stroke rehabilitation, and vascular coupling. He is the author of the two books in the neuroscience. He is a prolific popular science writer in Telugu, including a recent translation of Carl Sagan's Cosmos. He is the inventor of a novel script called Bharati and a unified script for Indian languages. There is much more to tell about B. Srinivasa Chakravarti. I have given you a brief introduction of him, and now I welcome sir, and now you can start the session.
Madam, can you give host permission to sir?
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Okay, I will withdraw now. I will.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, fine. I am stopping sharing.
Hi, good morning. Can you all see the slides?
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. First of all, let me thank Dr. Tawheed Sultana for giving this invitation to speak here today, and hope you're all safe and sound in these difficult COVID times. So my talk is about it's more about motivation and career guidance for students, and it's titled "I Rise and I Help Others Rise." So I've been noticing one thing about final year engineering students. A lot of them seem to be depressed and are not able to concentrate on their studies or on their project work, because usually in their final year they have to do their project work. I used to wonder, why does it happen? Then after a bit of reflection, so I could gauge some of the reasons that went behind this depression. So some of these questions that will be troubling these people in the final year or 8th semester stage is they might applied for higher studies, right, in US. Will I get the right admissions? Or what will people say if I don't get admission in good colleges? Or will I get the job, my dream job, etc., etc.? So they'll be really troubled, very anxious about their future, and why does it happen? And especially if you look at the IT situation, right? Students take the JEE exam and enter the institute. And typically JEE preparation starts from high school, sometimes even from 7th or 8th. So after about 4 years of hard work, and then they get into this thing, and there's a lot of expectation about them and their future, not only from the siblings and parents, but also from friends, from relatives, and society in general. Expects a lot of things from them, that they'll get a high-paying job and they'll go to top schools in US, etc., etc. But that may not happen in every case. So therefore, the expectation builds up, the tension builds up, and it's only natural that they get into this kind of a depressed condition. So what is really behind this kind of a situation is that a lot of young people, students, and we all do that, right? Live what is called a world-driven life. That is until that point, because when you are little, very little, like really young, right? Parents take care of you, tell you what to do, what to eat, what to wear, and all that. But that kind of a pattern continues way into the youth, and that causes a problem. Let me give an example. So sometimes parents bring their children when they get some JEE rank, they bring their children for counseling. So once this IAS officer brought his daughter for some counseling, and along with him his wife and family and some kind of peon, a big group has arrived in the office. So that girl got some rank, and apparently for that rank, she will get a chemical engineering seat in IIT Madras. Right. So the father was telling me everything. Right. For her rank, she'll get chemical in IIT, some mechanical in IIT Bombay, something else in some other IIT. So she'll take one of these things, and then she'll go for MBA. Otherwise, she'll write IAS, whatever. So this man has kind of written out her future for the next 5-10 years. All right. So the thing is, if somebody else is deciding your future, telling you what choices to make, whom to marry, what job to do, where to live, which country to settle down, so then you will not have any more interest in life. Life should be lived based on a foundation of freedom and joy. You should have an opportunity to try out various things, make mistakes, and then finally decide what you want to do. But if somebody is telling you at every step in the name of safety and security, and things go wrong, you'll be completely shattered. You don't have any enough strength to face those challenges. So why can't we all live like Superman, right? Happily, confidently, flying around wherever he wanted, and blazing a great trail of glory behind him. So why can't we all live like that? So the problem, so what is stopping? So we all have different reasons why we are not able to reach the potential that we are supposed to reach. So somebody might say, oh, I come from a middle class family, so I don't have many opportunities. Or I come from a certain religion or caste, so I'm at a disadvantage. Or my region is backward, so I'm at a disadvantage. Or I'm a woman or a girl, and this is a male-dominated society, so they have a problem. But there's too much corruption in the country, so there is a problem. Or the government is not creating enough jobs, so there is a problem. I don't have a good job. Or sometimes you need to have connections, only then you'll get positions, and I don't have any connections. So there are a lot of reasons. Each person has different reasons. But let me tell you that a lot of these reasons are actually excuses, because we all know good counterexamples.
Sir,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt your little voice, sir. It's clear.
Okay.
Little louder, sir. Some
adjustment.
Increase
my volume. Okay. Is it better now?
Better, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So these are all excuses, because if you look at all these counterexamples, right, about coming from middle class family. Take the examples of Srinivasa Ramanujan, very poor family, middle class family. Abdul Kalam, right, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, who is now one of the richest people in the country, right, and he comes from a middle class family. His father is a chartered accountant, right, and or I belong to a certain religion or caste. I mean, take the case of Abdul Kalam again, and Ramnath Kovind, our current president. Right, and or my region is backward. The Fogart sisters, whose story was portrayed in the movie Dangal, made by Amir Khan. This is a male-dominated society, right? What about the stories of Chanda Kochar, CEO ICICI, Arundhati Bhattacharya, CEO SBI, Indra Nui, CEO PepsiCo, right? Or too much corruption. So TN session has shown how a single person can literally control corruption in the elections commission activities. So what about lack of connections? Ranveer Singh has shown that you don't need connections. All that you have to have is self-belief, a strong self-belief, and talent. Right? Then the question of not having enough jobs. Right? Within the IT system, let me tell you, there are more than 1,000 faculty jobs vacant, because there are lots of new IITs have come up these days. Not only new IITs, but of new ICEs and NIDs, and so many government institutions have come up, and a lot of very good private colleges and institutions are coming up. The problem, I can tell you tomorrow, when you apply for try to get into the job market, what you will find is if you are good, you will have a job, right? If you have talent, if you have taken the trouble to develop your own skills without waiting for somebody else to do it, right? I'm sure you'll have a great career. So the thing is, very often we put the blame on something else or somebody else, but the ball is always in our court. This is the first lesson of success, that the ball is always in our court. So if you want to have a great career, the right question is not where do you have good jobs and etc. And definitely complaining doesn't help anybody. The first question we need to ask is, what is our purpose in life? What is a singular goal in life? What is the why behind all your actions? Why are you doing what you're doing? What are things that you really like to do? What makes you tick, right? And are there things that you can spontaneously do without anybody telling you, out of joy, out of sheer passion? Right? What are things that make you not scared of Monday? Some people make a lot of drama about Mondays. Oh, Monday has come again. I have to go to school. I have to go to college. I have to go to work. Whatever, right? But thing is, whatever you do, if it gives you joy, Monday won't be a scary thing. It will be actually you will welcome it with joy. So, what is that kind of activity which will make you not scared of Mondays, etc. So, what is the purpose? What is the goal of life? Goal of your life. So, thing is, not only individuals, institutions also, or companies also have some kind of a singular motto or goals around which all their activities are concentrated or organized. Take, for example, the TED Talks. You might have all seen the TED Talks. The motto of this company is very simple: spread ideas. Spread ideas in the fields of technology, education, and design. Ideas which are helpful, which can uplift the society, improve the quality of life, right? Identify such ideas and bring such speakers and spread these ideas. That's the motto of TED. So no wonder it has become so popular. Then Microsoft, the objective is to bring a personal computer to every home. So whatever Microsoft does, I mean, now it has diversified a lot more, but whatever it does, all its activity will be centered around that kind of a single central motto. Because there was a time when the computers were so big, the mainframe computers would fill a huge hall, right? And whereas people have envisioned kind of a computer which can sit on your table. Even now computers have become even smaller. But that was a motto, and everything that it went, revolved around that. Or Tesla, right? To accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. So Tesla, obviously, they sell these electric cars, right? Their fight is that if you bring more electric cars, that will facilitate or accelerate the transition to sustainable energy. So let me give an example, right, of a person who is driven by a singular central goal. So this young man called Afroz Shah, he was a lawyer in Bombay. So once he was looking for an apartment, actually. Looking for an apartment in a high-rise building, and this agent was showing him around. So as he was going around in that building, suddenly he looked back, and through one of the windows, he saw something very strange. So the apartment was right on the shore, on the seaside. And from one of the higher stories, you could see this huge white path-like thing right on the shore. Just wondering, what is this road? Usually roads are black or gray. What is this white thing sitting there? So then he came down and saw the shore. It's a huge pile of trash or garbage. So about 3 or 4, it's about 3 or 4 feet deep and several hundreds of meters long. So I was wondering, he was quite shocked, who could dump so much trash on a beautiful beach? So I didn't understand what's going on. So he asked around, and nobody bothered. They said, they keep on dumping trash like this, and etc. etc. So he tried to ask around for help, and nobody bothered. So then he was faced with a kind of a dilemma. So whenever you take up a big task, right, everybody will be facing this kind of a dilemma, and that's where this advice from Sri Aurobindo can become very useful. He says, if thy aim be great, thy means small, still act. For by action alone can these things accrue to thee. That is, if you have a big goal, a big dream, right, but your means are very little, right? So then you'll be wondering whether you can even go forth, take up the action. But he says, don't hesitate, go ahead and take up the action, take the work. Because only by action this means can come to you. If you never take that action, then that means will never come to you. So Afroz Shah exactly took that approach. He just kept on asking people around, can somebody help me? There's a lot of trash. So finally, nobody came to help but one elderly gentleman in this apartment complex. He's an 85-year-old gentleman, right? He came forward. So really ironical. He said, yes, Afroz, I can help you. So together they took some buckets and cleared 5 bags of trash. And that's how the journey began. So obviously he understood that this cannot go on. So he kept on asking for help. Then he asked this fisherman who worked in nearby the sea. So then he said, normally whenever there's a problem, our normal tendency is to blame somebody and then keep on cursing them. He said that won't work. Because you need to bring together with love. That's what he says in an interview, right? Pyar se jutna hai, that's what he says. Yeah, I mean, there's a YouTube video about his work. I feel to watch it. So he brings all these people, goes to nearby schools and explains to them about the problem, enlists their help. And these people even go and clean the toilets of nearby mohallas, nearby slum areas, right? So people start asking him, right? Why are you doing this? What is your interest in this? What interest can anybody have in clearing trash? He's out of goodwill and out of his good nature, he's doing it. So even somebody even sent some rowdies to threaten them. They said, no, we're not doing anything wrong. We're just clearing trash. So they kept on with their activity like that. So finally, they cleared 9 million kgs of trash and they completely cleaned the beach. It's a very dangerous activity because a lot of these chemicals, they seep into the soil. And it's very bad for your skin. So they were wearing gloves, taking all the precautions, but they went ahead with the action. So this reporter called Dhruv Rathi, who heard about this wonderful story and came to interview Afroz Shah. One of the questions that Dhruv asked him is, why did you do it? I mean, you're not a politician, you're not an AS officer, you're not any rich person, you're just an ordinary citizen. right? Why are you doing this? And he says, if not me, then who? It's a really and very interesting question. Very typical attitude and approach of a successful person, right? They don't pass the buck. The buck stops with them. They always take responsibility, right? If not me, then who? So looking at stories of a person like Aprusha, you can have an idea of how successful people behave. How do they work? First thing is they're proactive. Proactive means they don't wait for something to happen and then react to that after it happens, right? They foresee a situation and then take necessary preventive action or take necessary steps. And they don't want to be spoon-fed, right? They don't pass the buck to somebody else. They take up responsibility. And they're not slaves of the environment. They just don't respond to things, but they actually have a will of their own and they act it out and plan and take action. So to understand what is this kind of a behavior where people simply respond to an environment or slaves of the environment. So let me talk about the work of a French doctor called Francois Hermé. So this doctor was studying patients who were slaves to the sensory world. That is, to give an example, so if you give them a toothbrush, they immediately they'll take it up and start brushing themselves. If you give them a comb, they'll take it up and start combing themselves. There is no discrimination or reckoning as to whether the activity is relevant or not. Is it timely? Is it necessary in that context? Right? They don't have any such discrimination. They don't have any control. If there is a stimulus, they'll respond to it. Right? This is actually a brain disorder. It's called the environment dependency syndrome. This occurs in some patients who have damage to what is called the prefrontal cortex. It's a part of the brain which is right in the front, just behind your forehead. So in this, so this is a part of the brain which acts like a kind of a gateway between your sensory input that you receive from the world and the motor output that goes out into the world. This gateway decides what kind of a stimulus should be allowed, what kind of stimulus should be blocked, and then that's what is called discrimination. That's how you choose better actions. Okay, so in a successful person, they're not simply slaves of the stimulus. There's something called their own will, right? Which screens out the stimulus, screens out the many choices regarding the right response to take, and then makes a conscious and intelligent decision. Okay, so this property of will, this aspect of will be very strong in them. They are not simply responding to outside stimuli. They have their own will and vision. So that's one of the classic qualities of successful people. They take responsibility. They have their own will, right? And so their motto is, "My response is my responsibility. How I respond is my responsibility." That's what is called responsibility. Next quality, they don't wait for opportunities, because whenever we talk about career, the first question we ask is, where do you have opportunities? Which field? Right? I think the better approach would be, don't look for opportunities, create them if they are not there. Right? How do you create them? Let us look at the story of this girl who wanted to be a singer. So Jana Stanfield wanted to be a singer, and she took some singing lessons when she was young, and she sang in a local hotel for some time. She was from a small town, and after that, her aspirations grew bigger, and she wanted to become a lyric writer and a recording artist. She wanted to create her own albums and become quite famous. So for that, she moved to a big city. The city is called Nashville, Tennessee. It's in US. So she tried for many years to get a big break, and nothing worked out. So she felt disappointed, and so she didn't know what to do. So kind of she hit a dead end. So then she understood a principle of life. That is, whenever you want to become something, right, become that inside yourself first. It then becomes a reality outside. So what does it mean in this case? So she's a singer. She likes to be a singer. She wants to be a singer, right? So therefore, singer doesn't mean she has to have a position, a job, the title singer or something like that. Singer means somebody who sings, and that she can sing all the time, anytime. For that, she doesn't need somebody to give her a tag called a singer. So she stopped looking for opportunity, and she began to create her opportunity. So what did she do? She began to sing wherever she can. So when she goes to a party, somebody asks her to sing, she would immediately sing. Or she would go to nearby schools and sing to children and entertain them, inspire them. Or she would just take her instrument, guitar and electronic keyboard and all that, and sing on the streets. People would appreciate her. She's not doing it for money. She's just doing it because she likes to sing. She wants to entertain, inspire people with her singing. So she would keep on doing it, literally all day long. So then she also began to sing in some churches, and sometimes there was a good response. Once an elderly lady listened to her singing, and she said, I really like your singing, Jana. Especially one of those songs that you sang, it really moved me to tears. Can you please record it on a cassette tape and give me a copy? I can listen to it whenever I want. Jana says, yeah, that's fine. And then she makes not only one cassette but many copies. She gives this lady a copy, and she and her husband, they start selling these cassette tapes near churches and so on. So slowly she works her way up. She never abandons her passion, her true goal in life. And after some time, after some years of hard work like that, she starts her own company, actually two companies. One of these companies is called Keynote Concerts, other is called Relatively Famous Records. And the Keynote Concerts organizes concerts for, I think, youth. They have 50 motivational concerts. So she offers a package of both the singing and motivation. So because music is inspiring, and he also has some kind of motivation talks, and that was a big hit. So similarly, this other company also gives chance to budding artists, budding singers like her. What she was earlier, she wanted to give that opportunity to others like her. So that is the whole motto of underlying theme of I rise and I help others rise. So we should find our passion. We should rise. We should grow and get a foothold in the world and in life. And then we slowly help others who are also struggling like us. Right? So then the next quality that they have is their action oriented. So there are two kinds of people. Some people talk all day long, some people get into action. So successful people very quickly get to the action stage from thinking and intention and planning. They quickly get to action. Let's consider a kind of simple example of Ashok and Renu. Just a fictitious example. Ashok and Renu are, let's say, in second year engineering, and they're looking for internship. So Renu started preparing her resume, and she is deciding on what is the right kind of font, the right font size, and margins, and all that. She kept on fine-tuning her resume. Ashok is not that patient. He just quickly made some rough resume and started sending it out to companies, and began getting some contacts and calling up people. And within a week or two, he landed an internship position. Renu is still fine-tuning her resume. The point is, successful people quickly get to action stage and move beyond intention and planning stages. So whenever you talk of action, we should talk about these two circles, right? Now, what are these two circles? That is circles where action has to be concentrated. These two circles are circle of influence, circle of concern. What are these circles? Let me take the example of the current COVID situation, which is happening all over the world. You see a lot of bad things happening all over the world. You see it every day in news. So you feel bad for it. You have concern for it, right? So therefore, as far as COVID is concerned, the entire world is our circle of concern. But we also understand very well that if something is happening in Brazil or France or in US, you can't do anything. You and me cannot do anything. So it's only a circle of concern, but not a circle of influence. What is circle of influence? A circle or a domain where if you do something, there'll be an effect. They'll have an influence there. For all of us, each of us, what is that circle of influence? Our family, our home, our nearby, our circle of friends and things like that. So there we should do what we are supposed to do. Make sure everybody is following social distancing, using masks and sanitizing, etc. And they've taken vaccines, etc. So if you focus your action on yourself, we need to clearly distinguish between the circle of influence and circle of concern. Understand what are the borders of our circle of influence and completely concentrate our action within the circle of influence. Right? If you keep on, and successful people keep doing that, they know very well where their influence lies and where the influence ends. And they keep on working within those domains. Because of that, they'll show very good results. And because of that kind of performance capability, the circle of influence also expands. Maybe if you start like that with your family and show positive results, maybe your circle of influence will grow to encompass the entire world. Who knows, you might become a world leader, right? But you need to start with your circle of influence and not just waste time on circle of concern. So to explain this, let me tell you a small joke. They illustrate very well the difference between the two circles. So there was this couple who had got some award for being a very happy, harmonious couple. So one TV reporter wanted to interview them to understand the secrets of their conjugal happiness. So he comes and talks to them. What is your secret? How did you achieve it? Right. So the wife first takes up the mic and gives the answer. She says, "My husband and I have learned to clearly demarcate our domains of action. So we never step on each other's shoes." Right. The wife explained. The reporter is really surprised. Right. How does it? What are those domains? How did you do that? Then she laughs and says, when it comes to what to buy for the home, which school my kids go to, etc., I take the decisions, the wife explained. Then he's then even more surprised. What does your husband do then? She again smiles and says, my husband takes care of America's foreign policy, India's economic strategies, China's Australia trade problem, etc. So we never have any conflict of interest. Basically, she's saying that all the useful, necessary work necessary for the home and family, she does. She does all that stuff. The husband lives in the clouds, right? His feet are not on the ground. And he talks about all sorts of nonsense, sitting and chatting with friends and all day long, right? Where here is only a circle of concern, but not a circle of influence. So he's wasting his time. The successful people completely understand the circle of influence and concentrate their energies in that, right? In that circle. The next quality is, so when you talk about passion and goal, right in the beginning, you may not know what your goal is. It's a problem for pretty much everybody. But the thing is, somebody may not just come and tell you like magic. It's not like a MCQ where somebody can just come and tell you the answer, right? So you need to explore by yourself many paths, right? You can listen to others, but don't have to completely believe them or blindly believe them. You need to try out many paths. And then finally, you will find after some trial and error, you will find your real path. Once you find that path, you pursue it relentlessly. Let me give you the example story of Supriya. So this girl, like a lot of youngsters, she in her high school after her plus two, she didn't know what to do. Initially, she thought she'll do science, right, like biology. But after a week, she decided, no, science, nature, I should maybe take to economics. After another week, she said, no, economics is not good, not the right thing for me. Maybe I'll do commerce. So the parents were getting very jittery. What is this girl? She can't make up her mind. Right. So she did commerce, B-commerce. She thought she would do CA. But that's a standard path. But after BCom, she got sick of it. She didn't want to become CA. So the family was really upset, a lot of fights with the family. Then she had a brilliant idea. She said, look, there are a lot of people in my shoes, having similar dilemmas, similar difficulties in life. So why not have a conference, right? Organize a conference and invite these people who are struggling to find their foothold, find their path in life. And also people who have succeeded in that struggle, right? People who have successfully found their path. And call all those people. Let people who have succeeded tell others how they have succeeded. Okay, so once she organized such a conference and people just talked among themselves, it was such a big hit that because after that conference, somebody said, no, I'm in the wrong profession, I'm leaving my job and I'll take up something that I've always wanted to do. Or I'm in the wrong degree, I think I'll do a course in something else and go in a different direction, etc., etc. So a lot of people for that little conference has literally changed lives. Then that inspired this girl, Sophia Paul, and started this company called Josh Talks. Right? The Josh is inspiration or motivation, right? It's a Josh Talks. So she invites people who have succeeded in their whatever in their enterprise, whatever it is in life. And then these people talk about how they did it, right? How they face all the challenges in life and succeed ultimately. Okay, then the successful people are constant learners. So thing is they never sit idle and thinking that they know everything and all that. They constantly are updating their knowledge because if you are chasing a goal, you know what all you need to reach that goal, right? And reading blue books blindly would be very boring, right? Taking course after course without any objective or a goal can be very boring. But once you have found your goal, taking a course which is relevant to that goal or reading a book relevant to the goal can become very interesting because you will see the meaning in that activity. So there are many sources of knowledge, books, you can have motivational books, informational books, you can take courses online, offline. Because of COVID, online activity has become more popular. You can take courses anywhere in the world and learn new things. You can even work with mentors anywhere in the world. Lots of such activities these days going on. You can do internships, national, international, lectures, right? Meetings with people who are successful, experts in various fields, etc., etc. Now, constant learning is very important for any career in 21st century, because in the current century, the most important commodity, if you can call it a commodity, is knowledge. Because in 19th century, when the industrial revolution was picking up, the most important commodity was a machine, right? It was a machine that is producing goods and products of high value. The better your machine, the more productivity your company will have, and that the more will be your profit. But in the later half of 20th century, right, when computation and computer and technology, IT became more prominent, and in the current century, right, where all the economies of nations are evolving to become knowledge economies. Knowledge is the most precious thing, right, in the current century. So therefore, the more you know, the more valuable you are, like the marketplace. So I want to quote Peter Drucker's quotation here. Peter Drucker is considered the father of modern management. He says, in the future, there will be no poor countries. There will be only ignorant countries. What that means is, when there is ignorance, there is poverty. So countries who are very fanatical, they don't want to grow, and that they think they know everything. Apparently, India was like that 1,000 years ago, right? And but then we have grown a lot since then, I suppose. So wherever there is ignorance, wherever there is kind of a closed mind, where people don't learn anything, like from others, there will be poverty. And India was poor for a very long time. Now there is an increasing wealth these days. Now, to put it in Telugu, the formula is Teliyami leads to lame. Teliyami is ignorance, lame is poverty. So lots of books you can read. Some books I can suggest. These are particularly motivational success literature. Books of Jack Canfield, a classic book, is it's a fat book called Success Principles. Very comprehensive book that talks about many aspects of success. I think we should really read it, or at least order it for your college library. Then The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Rashmi Bansal, a famous Indian writer, she is an IIM graduate. She wrote many books on Indian entrepreneurs, successful Indian individuals who have made it big in their own fields. So she has written many books like that. One of those books is Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish. Then Supriya Paul's book, Supriya, we just looked at her story, and she also wrote a very nice book. All that you need is joy, right? All that you need is inspiration or motivation. Then some other books. I mean, there are millions of books. I'm just citing a handful, okay, just for the sake of it. The book called Making India Work. This is a pretty old book, came almost 10 years ago, by William Nanda Bissell, who is the CEO of Fab India. So he talks about how to improve Indian governmental machinery, right? How to make India progress faster. There's this famous book by Carl Sagan called Cosmos. Right? He talks about man's place in the cosmos, on this little planet Earth, which is the third planet in this little star system called the solar system. When Sun is a small star in a part of the Milky Way galaxy called the Orion Arm, right? And Milky Way galaxy itself is an ordinary galaxy, a much bigger galaxy in the universe, and so on and so forth. Right? So, what is our place in the universe? He really explains it very well. The way we look at ourselves and humanity completely changes. We read that book. I have translated this into Telugu, and if you're interested, you can take a look at this. Next quality is they are risk takers. So very often we work inside the comfort zone. We would have worked and performed in the comfort zone for a long time. Things are neither bad nor extraordinary, but we get used to it, right? But if we keep on going like that, we remain at that level, right? But only if you take a risk and take a decision to get out of the comfort zone, right, you'll go to a higher level. So let me tell the story of this guy called Jeff Ark. So this man was a karate school teacher. So he's a school teacher who teaches karate to school children. And so he was doing that for many years. He was getting bored with his life. Because teaching karate to school children is not that challenging. So teaching to adults or young people is more challenging. So he was getting bored with his life, and he used to listen to this motivational speaker called Tony Robbins. That every day would listen to his motivational tapes before going to bed. In this tape, Tony Robbins keeps saying one idea that keeps coming up is that you have to dream bigger, right? You should not settle at this current level, whatever it is in your life. You should always try to go high to a higher level. So, so this guy takes that advice, and he always wanted to make a movie. So he took that advice and started working on a movie script. So he wrote a script for a movie called Sleepless in Seattle. So initially he showed it to a few people and they just asked their opinion. Everybody said it's pretty bad, and they said don't go after this. It's not a good thing. Stay away from this. Why is that? Because in this story, the hero and heroine don't meet each other until about half of the movie. So what his friends say is, normally in movies, hero and heroine are going around each other all through the movie. Even then, this movies fail. So this is a very weird kind of movie, and it's likely to be a flop. But Jeff didn't take the opinion seriously. He took the risk, and he went around asking producers. And finally, somebody liked that story, and he was able to sell that script. And the script was made into a movie. And Jeff had Oscar nomination for screenplay. The movie was a big hit, Sleepless in Seattle. And the main actors in that, Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, the movie catapulted their careers as artists in a big way. So the thing is, just because one person decided not to live the same life and try to climb out of the comfort zone and go to the next level, right? So many good things happen. But not that every time you take a risk, things will happen, because you will also fail many times. But that's a part of the process, it's a part of the learning. And that brings us to the next point. These people learn from mistakes. So when you do something that leads to failure and leads to negative criticism from others, there are several ways of taking that feedback. The wrong ways are becoming demoralized, or getting angry with people who criticize you, or don't bother at all, saying that I'll never try anything like this, and sitting tight. This is not a useful way of taking that feedback. Whereas there are ways of putting the feedback to good use, which is to try to see the objective essence in it, to see if there's any point in what others are saying about your work, right? And then there are always facts which are common to which are objective. So check with facts, right? Ask the second person, third person, fourth person. If everybody says there's a problem with what you're doing, then there's really something is wrong with that approach. So you may have to change that approach. You have to take corrective action. Because fail means first attempt in learning. Okay, so it's a part of the process and there's nothing to worry about. Another quality of these people is they are willing to walk the extra mile, right? What is the extra mile? I'll give a small story. This idea of walking the extra mile as a very important quality of successful people is emphasized a lot by one of the motivational speakers and writers called Napoleon Hill. So he tells a story of this young salesman who used to work in a shopping mall, in a departmental store in Pittsburgh, in US. So one day the shop was somewhat empty and not many customers. All the salespeople were sitting in a corner and chatting among themselves. Then an elderly lady walks into the shop. So other salesmen didn't see her, but this man saw her and he approached her and said, ma'am, what do you want to buy? What can I show you? Then this lady says, no, I didn't come to buy this. Raining outside. I just wanted to take shelter somewhere for a little while. Then as soon as the rain subsides, I'll go away and don't bother. So normally salesmen can be indignant when somebody comes and says that, right? They might shoo them away and all that. But this man was very respectful. He said, that's okay, ma'am, no problem. And let me offer you a seat, and brings her a chair. And can I get you something hot to drink, about some coffee or hot chocolate or something like that? So he really takes care of that old woman, and then she stays for some time and goes away. So he forgets that whole incident. After a couple of weeks, this guy gets a letter in his mailbox. It's an offer letter for a great job as a head of a shopping mall in Scotland. He's completely shocked because he's just an ordinary salesman. How can he get a big responsible offer? So the story that happened in the background was that lady happens to be the mother of a rich industrialist, American industrialist called Andrew Carnegie.
So yeah. So, can your audio can be increased, sir?
Further. Okay,
Yeah.
let me do
Yeah.
Ma'am, it's 100% already.
Okay, okay. Or your speaker is little far, sir?
No, it's right. Okay, let me
Right.
maybe I'll
Okay.
hold it close to my mouth.
Okay, okay. You can continue.
Yeah. So, is it better now?
Yeah, little louder, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So this idea of working the extra mile, right? So so this lady happens to be that industrialist mother, and she sees that this guy is willing to work that extra mile. Because as a salesman, his job is just to show the products to the customers and make sure they buy them. That's where his duty ends, right? But he did not stop at that point. He walked the extra mile. What is the extra mile? Right? So as a salesman, it's his duty also to make sure that the customer feels comfortable when they come to the shop. Right? Because we always say customer is the king, but very often salespeople completely ignore customers. They don't treat them properly. So he is willing to walk that extra mile and and treat the customer properly. And this lady saw that behavior, that conduct, that mindset, and recommended his name strongly to his son, to her son. And therefore, this man also understood and gave the job up. So this quality of working the extra mile is very important if you want to have a great career. Wherever you work, right? We can do a little bit more than what your job duties tell you. More meaning more something positive and productive. Then you will immediately become more visible in the company, and your superiors will notice your good work and good attitude, and you will get promotions. Next thing, they are not rejected by rejection. Whenever you try something, rejection is the first thing that you will face, right? So if you are upset by that and give up effort, and there ends a matter. So let me tell you the story of this lady called Chinu Kala. Okay, so this lady started again from a middle class family. So once she picks up fight with her father and walks out of the house. But the thing is, she didn't have any money. She just had 300 rupees. And somebody tells her you can make some money by selling some products, as a door-to-door salesman or salesperson. So she thought it's very simple. So she goes to a house and knocks on the door, right? And one woman opens the door, and this girl was about to explain what is the product that she's trying to sell. That lady of the house was just immediately banged the door shut on her face, and this girl was so dejected and depressed by that event, because nobody ever behaved to her like that, and she almost wanted to give the whole thing up and go back home. But that's where something in her decided that no, she has to fight. She cannot let this rejection overcome her completely and defeat her. So she kept on with her fight, and then she married and climbed the ladder of success. And later she opened a big shop in a Bangalore shopping mall, and making things her business. She's become very successful because she was able to overcome the bitterness of that rejection. Then there was this famous British writer called John Creasy. He wrote 600 books for 40 years under different names. But before he was able to publish his first book, he was rejected 743 times. That means 743 books that he has written were rejected or by many different publishers. So that must be really depressing, right? Really painful. But he kept on with his efforts and then finally became a successful writer. Another story is story of a man called Monty Roberts. So this man, when he was a young boy in the school, so once his class teacher asked him to write an essay, asked the whole class to write an essay. The essay is about what do you want to become when you grow up, right? So this little boy wrote that when he grew up, he wanted to buy a big ranch, big farm of about 200 acres, and groom race horses in that ranch and sell the race horses and become very rich. That's what his dream was, right? And so this teacher read that essay and laughed at it, right? And she gives him a F grade. It is a fail grade. So boy was felt very sad, right? And then the teacher calls him again and says, "Look, Monty, do you know why I gave you an F grade?" Monty says, "No, I don't understand." It was a good essay. Teacher says, "No, it's a good essay, but you are being very unrealistic. Look at your current situation and look at your dreams." Because Monty comes from a very poor family. Their family lives in a small hut. And just one second. So they're a very poor family. They live in a small hut. So from that kind of a condition, he's dreaming to become so rich. The teacher felt that he's being unrealistic. So he says, if you write a story which is slightly more realistic, then I will give you a grade. I won't fail you. Then this boy, you know what he says? He says, "Thank you, teacher. You can keep your F grade. I'll keep my dream." Right? So he has so much self-belief, even at that young age, that he rejects his teacher's rejection, and he grows up and he pursues his dream, and finally he realizes the dream. He actually buys a big ranch of 150 acres, and he grooms race horses in that ranch. He sells them and becomes a very rich man. So thing is, this kind of successes, they don't happen overnight. Very often you have to chase this dream for long years with steady effort. Okay, so how much effort is needed to really get there? So this writer called Malcolm Gladwell, who has written many popular books like Blink, Tipping Point, Outliers, and so on. David and Goliath has written many popular books. In one of these books, he says the following: in fact, researchers have settled on what they believe is a magic number for true expertise: 10,000 hours. That is, if you want to become good at any skill, at any area, you have to put in at least 10,000 hours of practice in that. So, for example, you want to become a violinist, or a drummer, or a singer, or a mathematician, right? Whatever it is, you have to direct steady effort in that area for a very, very long time. Okay, it's not going to happen overnight. So let me give the example of another person who has put in long years of effort and worked wonders. So this man called Anand Negi, right? So he used to work in a desert development program in the state government of Himachal Pradesh. Their goal is, this program's goal is to convert desert land into green land, right? And so these people from this department, they used to visit this place called Kinnaur in Himachal Pradesh and do some activity. But over the years, this Anand Negi was noticing that when you work in these government organizations, they keep on spending money, but there's no result. So it becomes kind of disillusioned with that program and leaves the program and started working on his own. So that work begins in 1999 and keeps traveling to Kinnaur frequently and do some work there. But after 2003, he completely moved to Kinnaur, right? He continued the work there. For about, I think, close to 10 years, he, along with a small group of friends, right, they converted, transformed 90 hectares of mountainous desert land into a completely green land. How did they do it? They planted 30,000 trees, just a small group, no government funding, nothing. So point is, what you need really to change the world, to transform the world, is not lots of funding, big government support, political support, all that. All that you need is a pure will, a pure intention. Okay, and so what happened? So pure intention, and if you keep working at it, things will happen. Okay, so let me take a short break. So up to this point, we have discussed the qualities of successful people. Now let me talk about how they work with other people in making that success happen. Just let's take a 2 minutes break. Okay, so until now we talked about some of the qualities of successful people, right? Can
బాగున్నాయి
people,
కదా అవి తులసివి
can people
different గా
mute
ఉన్నాయి కదా
themselves?
వెండివి
Can people mute themselves? Hello.
Yeah, yes, Professor.
Yeah. So, so we talked about the qualities of successful people until now. But thing is, success cannot be achieved, by a single individual. It's always a group that achieves success. So, if you want to achieve something, you need to know how to work with others and make the success happen. So, let us discuss a little bit about working with others. So, when we talk about other people, let us subdivide them into three categories. So, people who are above us, more senior to us, more experienced, wiser than us, right? Well, that's the first group. The second group is, so let us call them mentors. This person is wiser than you, more accomplished, more competent. So if they give you some advice and counsel, that can be helpful, that can be uplifting, right? So it's good to have a mentor. Everybody should have a mentor. That mentor should be based on a mutual consent. That means it shouldn't be something forced upon you. You should like that person. You should respect that person as a mentor. Other person also should have genuine concern for you, right? And should be willing to help. So when that match happens, right, it's a great combination. Right, a lot of good can come out of that kind of a combination. So a couple of examples of great mentors and students is Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda. That's one example. Then in the world of sports, again, another example is Kopi Chand and Sindhu. Right. So it's always good to find a mentor. Mentor can be a teacher in your college, can be some relative or somebody that you have just met, right? But it's good to have a mentor, somebody like a role model, and somebody who is ideally, in the field that you are interested in. So that's the first category of people. You need to have mentor, or even sometimes mentors, multiple mentors. Then the second group we need to have is a mastermind group. So these are a set of individuals who are at your level. They're your peer group, right, at the same stage in life. So it's a bunch of like-minded individuals. All of them are trying to do well in life. They want to grow in life, right? And they like each other. They're good friends. But they motivate each other, help each other. We need to have a group like them. And these people generally, so many writers have talked about the need for this kind of a mastermind group. Napoleon talks about that, and Jack Canfield talks about that, right? And so these people meet often, and they are in touch with each other. They help each other. Whenever somebody is in trouble or doesn't know what to do, others will give them, timely advice and things like that. Then, in such a group, try to avoid this very pessimistic and negative people who believe that nothing is going to change, right? So avoid that kind of people. Try to have a very positive-minded, like-minded people, and that can be a great help in your progress. So I want to quote from Helen Keller, right? Alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. So it's good to have a group that works together. And a great example of such a mastermind group is the Infosys group, the people who founded the Infosys. So you can see, and you recognize probably Narayan Murthy and Chris Gopalakrishnan, this picture, the very old picture. So all these people, they were actually colleagues in a company called Patni, right before they started Infosys. At some point, they wanted to start their own company, so they got out of Patni and started Infosys. And initially, apparently, they started. Narayan Murthy's wife Sudha Murthy, gave some investment, and they started office in the front room at their house. And from that point onwards, just see how much they have progressed. How much they have expanded. They get a really glorious multinational company and made India proud. So another example of a mastermind group, right? People at the same level, how much they can progress and what wonders they can work, is this small set of group from a village. This story happened in the US. So it's a small village called Coalwood. It's in a state called West Virginia. This actually happened in 1958. So this was a time when Russia launched the first artificial satellite that called Sputnik. You might have heard about it. So that was the first satellite, and it was going around the Earth. And one thing that is special about Sputnik is that you could see it from the Earth. In the night sky, Sputnik looks like a small moving star, a bright dot, moving bright dot. So all over the world, people were, trying to look for this moving wonder in the sky every night. So in this village called Coalwood, also people were one night they came out of their houses and trying to look for Sputnik, and they saw the Sputnik, and really they were filled with awe, and even some people were even scared. Because if now Russia can make a rocket that can send objects into the sky, that can go over the entire Earth, then maybe they can throw bombs on other countries. They can throw bombs on us. They were scared like that. So people were looking at that wonder and making different comments. And in that group, there's also this set of young boys, high school boys, right? And they were also looking at this wonder. And one among those boys, his name is Homer. Homer is the name of a Greek poet, right? So this boy Homer says, "Okay, I'm going to build a rocket." So others were responding to the same event with fear and wonder. And this boy was actually inspired by that sight. He was not scared, right? He says, "I'll also make a rocket." The thing is, he said that, but his village was so backward that nobody has even heard of a rocket until then, right? And nobody, far less even, they hardly know how to make a rocket. Even the school teachers don't know anything about rocket making. So then these boys together they write a letter to a rocket scientist in NASA. His name is Werner von Braun. So the scientist then responds and then sends some literature about how to make a rocket. I'm talking about this like a small rocket, not a real rocket. So these boys start collecting some material, start making a rocket in their backyard. And every time they try to make a rocket, it just explodes on their face, literally. And all the experiments were total failure. So they keep on improving their design, keep working on it. At some point, Homer's dad says, "If I see you guys again playing with that dangerous stuff, I'm going to beat you up. Stop doing that. I don't want to see you anywhere around here with that stupid rocket stuff." But his boys were so stubborn. They said, "Okay, I won't play with them anywhere near you." But so saying that, these people go outside the outskirts of the village, walk 8 miles from the village, right? And there they find a flat ground, and they create some kind of a small launching pad and continue with their experiments. So like that, they keep on trying. They never give up their dream. They keep on trying. The whole movie is about their failed experiment, their failed attempts to make a rocket. At the end of the movie, finally they succeed with a lot of help from different people, and that rocket goes up into the sky, several kilometers high into the sky. It was a big success. The whole that inspired the whole village, right? And that project gets the first prize at a national science fair. The whole movie is about a science fair. There's no hero, heroine singing, none of that nonsense. So that's what a peer group of like-minded people with a shared dream, that's the kind of wonders they can achieve. So the third category of people with whom you're working is a team, is your team. People who are younger than you or even less experienced than you. Because sooner or later, when you join a job, you won't be working alone. You'll be leading a team. So we should know how to lead a team, how to motivate a team, how to guide a team, right? How to nurture the team. So there's a huge science behind how to work with a team and how to develop a team. Okay, so teams are very important. Also in the corporate world these days, there is a lot of recognition, understanding of the importance of teams. There was a time when everybody wants to become a hero. Everybody wants to look good individually. But that will not take the organization very far. People should learn to work as teams. So we need leaders. We need people who have leadership qualities and lead a team successfully. So teams are better than individuals because they have more people means more ideas, more energy, right? Even if the leader is very competent and really smart, if there is a good team backing up the leader, the leader's potential is amplified further. So you need to have a good team. And then when there are many people instead of just one person, they bring multiple perspectives. So they'll be able to think of better solutions to whatever problems the company is facing. Right. And also when there is a victory, everybody shares that victory, the joy of the victory, and joy is further amplified. And when there's a defeat, everybody shares the sadness of the defeat, and sadness goes down, is further attenuated. Then leaders are made accountable because they're responsible for a team. So there are lots of good things about a team. So if you want to understand teamwork and how to develop a team, how to lead a team, right? How to motivate a team, the best example is the movie Lagan. Right? You should watch this movie if you have forgotten, but have seen it, but you can watch it again from this point of view. How does a leader build a team and guide a team to success? There are lots of literature, lots of huge literature on the value of teams and about leadership. I'm just mentioning two nice books here, both by John Maxwell. He's a big expert on leadership and teamwork. You can look at these two books and you can even order them for your school, like college library. So that's a little bit of how to work with other people and to grow and become successful. And so finally, if you want to, so far we only talked about career and individual growth and teamwork and all that. But life is not just career and job. There's other dimensions of life, other aspects of life. We should not be blind to them. We should not neglect them. Right. And the thing is, what you do in at your work or at your college is as important as what you do at home when you come back from college or come back from work. Some people these days are beginning to give too much importance to work and neglecting family and life outside the work. And that's a bad choice because both are interdependent. You cannot ignore one, neglect one at the cost of the other. So this idea is very nicely illustrated with an example by Stephen Covey. Right, he talks about the story of a person who is trying to cut a piece of wood using a saw. So this guy has been sawing this wood for a long time, and it's taking a very long time. And then the person who sees it, he notices that the saw has become blunt; its teeth have become blunt. But this guy keeps on cutting the wood without sharpening the saw. So the observer says, "Hey, why don't you take a little time out? Right, go sharpen the saw and then come back. Then your cutting process will go faster." This guy says, no, I'm very busy. I'm already late. So I cannot afford to take time out to sharpen the saw. So this thing goes on and on. So thing is, this is what a lot of us do, right, with our own lives. Right, sharpening the saw here is sharpening our own instrument, our mind, our body, our soul. Right, fine tuning it and developing it. Before we go back to work. So therefore, this is the reason why people talk about a lot these days about work-life balance. What you do at work is as important as what you do outside work, at home, right, outside in life. So the other time that you spend outside the work, right, we need to take time out for relaxation, spend time with family, do meditation, yoga, whatever, trekking, sports. All that you do outside the work is also equally important. Let me talk about family. Just two things. Family is a very big story. I myself not a real expert. They're experts in just family dynamics. But family is like a fortress for everybody. The family is extremely important. If you want to have a good life, a good career, family is extremely important. Right? There's a fortress from which you fight the family. But only when the family is properly developed in a positive fashion. Let me give an example. There's a family where the father is an engineer and is one of those alpha male type characters, and the mother she's a writer. She likes to write books. The father thinks that his wife is wasting her time trying to write books. But for the lady, she's very passionate about writing books. There's a lot of friction between them because the father tries to dominate the wife, and the daughter likes to. So father wants the daughter to become an engineer like him, but daughter doesn't want to become an engineer. She wants to become something else. So the constant friction. So the point is, in a family when the one person is dominant and tries to control everybody, telling them what to do. I've seen families where the parent completely controls children. Right? say sit, they sit, they stand, they stand. Okay, so in that kind of family, there's no joy, right? Nobody grows in that family, neither the parent nor the child. So whereas imagine a family where everybody supports and nurtures each other, right? And they understand the aspirations and dreams of other person instead of imposing one's own dreams on the other person. They recognize the dreams of the other person and encourage them and guide them in according as per their own dreams. Right? If everybody in the family does it with other people, everybody can progress well, and it will be a happy family. It will be a very fertile ground for progress. Right? The parents will have great career in such a family, and the children also will have a great education because they'll be able to do well in their school studies. Right? So, okay, there's a lot more to say about family. Family is an extremely important component of life if you want to have a good life and a good career. Then health. Health is just so too obvious that you need to have good health. Without health, nothing can be achieved. Right. So therefore, I mean, again, I'm not a medical expert or a dietitian or anything, but a lot of literature out there. Right. One simple suggestion I can make, because you're all youngsters. So people talk about doing regular exercise and going to gym and all that, but the simpler solution is getting to some sports. So I know a family relative, my relative, that this man is 85-year-old right now, and he's fit as a fiddle. He's very healthy, right? And no need, nothing, no diabetes, no BP, nothing. So how is it possible? He has been a tennis player all his life, not a professional player, just an amateur and just a hobby for him. So every week he would play at least 3-4 games of tennis, and that habit kept with him all his life, right? And so again, so people who say that life is a question of good habits, right? We have heard it many times, but we ignore the simple advice too often. So sports is a great way to maintain good health because you're youngsters, and if you get into a sport and make it a habit, right, and then you will do it effortlessly once it becomes a habit. Then attitude towards money. Again, I'm not a financial planner, but you should talk to somebody and understand different aspects of money. What is stock market, what are mutual funds, all that. It's like a way you learn about circuit theory or something. You should learn about various instruments of money and about the financial world. Learn systematically from some expert. But all that I'll tell you is there's attitudes about money that a lot of us have that can keep money from coming to us. Like, for example, the people who believe that money is the root of all evil, right? Don't hanker for money. If you are rich, you are bad. Rich people are always bad. That's some people believe like that. Or rich people become rich by looting the poor. If that is true, then the total wealth of a country will never increase. The total GDP will never increase. But GDP keeps increasing. India's GDP keeps going up. How does it happen if money is a fixed quantity and it's some kind of a law of conservation of money? If that is true, then the total money of a country will never increase. Therefore, that idea is not true. A positive attitude towards money could be something like, money is generated by creative and diligent effort of individuals, right? So with a creative and steady effort, the wealth that is there inside your own mind, your consciousness, your creative energy, your talent, your knowledge, this becomes manifest in the world in the form of wealth, affluence for you, right? So, and also simple secret of money is ask yourself how you can serve the society, how you can serve others, right? How you can fulfill a social need. Then as you fulfill that social need, money will come. Society will pay you for the services you are delivering to the society. In fact, a very good attitude towards society we can have is one of service, right? It's a very healthy attitude to have towards society. And if you can understand how we can serve the society, then money will come to us. And to that end, we need to ask ourselves, what is the talent that we have hidden in us with which we can serve the society? So here I want to just say that a great secret, the great discovery of our generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering the attitudes of their mind. Right? This is a quotation from William James, an American psychologist from 19th century. So there's a very interesting truth that if we change our attitudes towards many things, other people, about society, about life, about health, about money, The very change in attitudes will start changing our circumstances. It sounds very strange, but it is quite true. So in that context, I want to recommend this movie called Founder, which is a story of the man who started the McDonald's restaurant chain. We all know about McDonald's. You might have eaten there. So who was this is the person who started this whole chain? His name is Ray Kroc. How did he start this chain? So he was a salesman before he started this. He was getting bored with his work, with his job, and it was very routine. So at some point, he used to listen to these motivational lectures. And one idea that keeps coming up in these lectures is that if you change your attitudes, it will change your circumstances of life, right? So see if you can watch this movie someday. So finally, I just want to say that there's a whole science of success. There's a lot of writers who have written about it extensively. Different writers emphasize different aspects of this science. Just like if you want to become an electrical engineer, you have to take many courses, right? You have to take a course on circuit theory, then electronics and control theory and devices and so on. Similarly, science also has many aspects, huge literature. I mean, if you learn the success as a science, right, and understand the different aspects of it systematically, you can implement it in a systematic fashion in your life and reap the benefits of that. Otherwise, what will happen is we'll all try to make the same mistakes over and over again of the mistakes that previous generations have made and learn it the hard way. Because it doesn't have to be that way. We can learn and progress more intelligently, more harmoniously. Right? And once you grow like that, once you find your own foothold, your own happy station in life, then we need to give back to the society, because it's a society that gives us that progress, enables our progress, our ascension. So therefore, we need to give back to the society. We owe it to the society, right? So if there is kind of a happy dynamic equilibrium between the society and the individual, then India will become like this. India is trying to grow very rapidly right now, right? There was a time when the society in India was completely collectivist. Because the collective will tell you how the individual should live. Whereas if they look at the Western society, it is very individualist. Whereas the individual can do whatever they want without worrying about the plight of the collective. I think both are two extreme positions. And a better society will have a dynamic equilibrium, a harmonious equilibrium between the individual and the society and the collective. Right? So if you can evolve that kind of society, India will really progress and will sustain that kind of a wealth and glory for a very long time. Okay, Jai Hind, I just want to again mention that we have developed this new script called Bharati script. Right, we have this website shown here. If you are interested, take a look at that. And if you want more information, we can always organize some sessions for you. Vikram keeps organizing these sessions on Bharati script. If you're interested, we can do that for you. Jai Hind. If you have any questions, I can answer them.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Hi.
Sir, my question is, what are the good qualities of a leader to form the team building?
Yeah, actually, leadership itself is a big subject. If you want, I can take another lecture on. Very first thing about leader is leader takes responsibility. Okay, not only for himself or herself, but for the entire team and the progress of the team, for the output of the team. And one of the things about John Maxwell keeps saying is the leader acts like a lid for the team. Right? A lid means what? That's the upper limit. Right? A team and an organization is only as good as the leader. So just look at what's happening in India. We have a great leader now, Narendra Modi, and that's it. Right? Country just progresses. People become inspired and they keep working. They progress. Take any good company that's doing well. It has a great CEO. Right? You change the CEO, again it will start going down. Or you replace a bad CEO with a good CEO. That's why the CEOs are paid so much, and we keep cribbing about that. Why should this guy make so much money? That's the magic of a leader, right? So leader acts like a lid. So there are many other things, and I think I'll have to do a separate session. But if you like, read that book by John Maxwell, the 21 I think, indisputable laws of leadership. Right? And leaders are constant learners, and so they have to
Thank you,
develop.
sir.
And another thing about leaders is, so normally leaders behave as if they are heroes, and everybody else around them are lesser than them. They want to look better than the others around them. That's not a real leader. Real leader always try to develop the people around them, nurture them, understand their needs, and literally takes attitude of a servant. They like to serve and nurture those around them. This applies to everybody, whether it is a team leader or a principal or HOD, whatever it is. They don't feel threatened, insecure by others around them growing them. They want the others around them to grow, right? And they help them grow. So that's a very healthy, then that will create a very healthy relationship between the leader and those around them, the team members. Like that, there are many things about leadership. And if there is a separate session, I can talk about some of those things.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Any questions? The participants can unmute from your end, or you can put it in the chat box.
Hello, hi, any questions?
Yeah, participants, any questions? You can put in chat box if you want. You can. Yeah, students and faculty. Anyone
Yeah, there is.
yeah. Faculties have any doubts? Sir, from my end,
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
the talk was very excellent, sir. So
Thank you.
you had given us the motivation that, sir, that if there is a will, there will be a way.
Yeah.
So you have given us so many success stories where individually they stood and achieved it. So this motivation is required nowadays for all the faculty members and students. So
Yeah.
a small push is very much necessary.
Yeah.
So participants, I request any one of you, any doubts or anything you can, so that we can end the session.
Yeah, any questions, anybody? So actually,
yeah,
in my lab, we keep having these discussions.
yeah.
So every week or maybe once every 2 weeks,
Sir,
we watch some motivational video on YouTube,
YouTube.
right? And we discuss it because
Yeah.
everybody is at home because of lockdown. Everybody is at home. People haven't come back to the campus yet.
Yes.
So we watch it on the net and then discuss, and everybody gives their comment. That's something you all do. Try to form a small group of friends,
Sir.
right? Like-minded friends, and then you can watch some motivation videos and discuss among yourselves, right? What is this, and can we do something like this? What should we try something? Very small things, or read some books together,
Yes.
right? Share ideas,
Yes.
right? It's easy to, if there are other people who are on the same journey, it's easy to move forward.
Yeah.
Right? If you are lonely, if you are working alone, it's much harder.
Yeah.
So if you don't have any other further questions, you can write to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I can answer. Right.
Okay.
So thank you very much, ma'am,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
good
yeah.
luck to all the students.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.
On behalf of management, principal, and the Department of ECE of JBIT, I thank you, sir, for giving the useful sides and motivating the students so that they can take the right path in their career. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So I'll be
Good luck.
taking the. Thank you, all of you. I'll